Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. Okay. So we discussed the concept. We discussed what basically HR is, what is a human resource management, and what encompasses or what and all comes into the purview of human resource management. Basically, looking at the functions of human resource management, right? So, can you name some of the functions that we talked about? Anybody? Anybody? Can you just take some of the functions that we talked about? Uh, Shrikant? Since I could hear
Huh?
you were there, I would be calling out your name quite frequently. Yeah. So
Yes, yes, please.
can you recollect any of the functions that we talked about? We talked about HR sourcing, wherein we talked about job analysis, human resource planning, recruitment, selection, placement.
Job description,
Yes.
job description,
Job description.
performance assessments.
Yes. So performance
Yeah,
assessment, training, management development, career
training,
planning. Yes. These all comes
industry
under
relations.
industry relations, that comes under employee relations. So these were broadly the functions that we talked about. We basically grouped them into two categories. One were the managerial functions, the other was the operative functions. So managerial function basically looks at the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Why? Your operative functions of human resource management includes HR sourcing, which looks at job analysis, human resource planning, recruitment, selection, placement, while performance and development looks at performance appraisal, training, career planning, and then you have the compensation management, which looks at job evaluation, basically evaluating the worth of a job, wage and salary administration, incentives, bonus, fringe benefits, right? And we also spoke about employee relations, wherein we just talked about what a strike is or what a lockout is. All right. So in today's class, I don't know how many of you uh, look through the modules and you want me to cover any specific topic which you have gone through and you are not able to understand. Anybody who could go through the blocks? Any of the blocks? Anil, Shruti, Shrikant, Hirak, anybody? Okay, so since I have no response, I assume that it should be quite slow. So I thought maybe I'll just look at job analysis. But before that, I go into job analysis. There is something little technical, or rather, I think you should be knowing, which is known as strategic human resource management. How many have heard of strategic human resource management? That comes into the block one of your study material. You have heard of strategic human resource management? I think after lunch class sessions are quite. Yes, yes, Hira. Yes, please. Can you speak? Yeah. Hirak, you were saying something? You raised your hand? Okay. So, see, when we talk about strategic human resource management, if you remember, in the last class, I had said your HR strategies, your human resource strategies, which include the way you recruit, the way you select, the way you manage your performance appraisal, it's all linked to the strategy of your organization, the main strategy of your organization. Like when we talk, didn't we talk about the cost leaders like Walmart and Vishal Mega Mart? If you remember, yes.
Yes, yes, you did, ma'am.
So we said, I mean, these companies would have a different perspective when it comes to investing in the people because they're very cost conscious. They know that any variation in the price of their products and the customer would decide where to go, right? Because they know that the customers are very price sensitive and so they're very conscious about the cost. So they're very conscious when it comes to investing in human resource management. All right. Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, yes.
this is known as vertical integration, wherein you integrate your HR strategies according to the business strategy of your organization. So if you are innovative driven organization, your recruitment processes, your training processes, your performance appraisal, everything has to be innovation driven. That means when you recruit people, you would look at people who are creative, who can innovate, and who can work in a free environment, and they would be given autonomy. All right? Because Your strength is innovation. Are you there? See,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
yeah, exactly. So what is it? So what would you do? See, I'll just tell some statement. I'm just going to randomly say some HR strategies, and you have to tell me as to which of these HR processes or strategies or functions, whatever you call, is not going with innovation. So I am an organization wherein my all processes are innovation driven, right? So when I'm innovation driven, everything, including the job structures, including our culture, organization culture, everything has to be focusing on promoting innovation. Yes or no? Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So, while I recruit people who are very my all the recruitment processes and strategies are looking at candidates who are innovative and creative, right? Okay. Two, when I select, I'm very conscious about people who are in accordance with the culture of my organization and who can have who would love autonomy and who are creative in their job. When it comes to induction training, I focus on innovation. But my performance appraisal, what is performance appraisal? Evaluating the job holder on the
Set
performance,
of criteria.
right? Certain criteria on which I'm supposed to perform. So if you're appraising my performance, Manju as a teacher, her performance appraisal would be inclusive of certain set of criteria which defines her job, right? But here in this organization, while we're talking about the performance appraisal, is not recognizing my creativity or innovation. So what happens? There is a mismatch. There is a mismatch because
We will.
you're an
Yes,
innovative person. So your training has to be innovation, focused on innovation. Your performance appraisal has to be, encouraging innovation. Your incentive system has to be in accordance with giving, bonuses, giving incentives to innovative people. Everything has to be innovation driven. If there's a lapse anywhere, there is a lack of integration or fit. Will you agree with me?
yes, ma'am.
So all your HR strategies have to complement one another. When I say complement, if your performance appraisal is not able to award or recognize innovative people, so that will actually affect the incentive system also. Yes or no? Because it has to be innovation. I have to be recognized for my creativity, right?
Right, right, ma'am.
Right? So what is it? So here we are looking at, integration or fitting in. Strategies have to complement one another, and this is known as internal fit, or it is known as horizontal fit, while vertical fit is when your organizational strategy is aligned to your HR strategies, right? Can I just put up a case study here? But I have very passive students, so I think I should, because today I think all of you feeling sleepy or what? You are not, as active as you were in the last class. Shruti, are you there? Or are you from your offices wherein you can't speak? Anil, are you there? Anil? Arpit?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anil?
I'm here, ma'am.
Okay, you are here. Much. All right. So, I think I would go with the module 2 only, and then maybe if you want to discuss the case, if you want to have the case study, I can just put up a case wherein I can show you how the HR strategies are linked to the business strategies. Okay, let's see if we have time. We'll put it towards the end. Okay. So now we will be dealing with the topic of job analysis, and we'll just brush up with what a recruitment process is so that you have some idea about both the processes. Is it okay? All right. Okay. So what we're going to do now is, anybody who could go through the module job analysis. What is the job analysis? I had talked in the last class. What is the job analysis? Can we just break the
I
word?
did.
Yeah.
I mean, identify identifying, I mean, the set of criteria which we use to analyze to find the right candidate or the incumbent.
I mean, is it finding the input of job analysis could be used for finding the right candidates through the recruitment process, but job analysis
Yes,
is
ma'am.
basically, yeah, job analysis is basically like the word says, job analysis. So here what you do, you gather all possible information with regard to your job, a particular job, you document it, you analyze it, and this data is reflected into things. One is job description, which includes what does job description include? It includes what is the context, what are the duties, and what are the skills required for the job, what are the responsibilities required for the job, any specific mental abilities. That is what is required in job description. That's what's said in a job description, right? So, and job specification is what are the qualifications essentially required by the job holder to perform that job. Is it clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So, if that is the basis of a job analysis, what could be the uses of a job analysis? Because I told you job analysis is the basic foundation. When I say recruitment, when I look at it, framing an advertisement for any particular job, I would refer on to the job description, JD, because that talks about all the things that I just mentioned. Yes? Right?
True, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So, so what is it? Can you just randomly mention what are the uses of a job analysis? What could be the uses?
To
There are-
find the right candidate for the job.
Yes, one use, next use. I would say,
And
yeah. Yes.
and it is for the from both the sides, from the recruitment side also and from the applicant side also.
See, more so we use it from the management side because उसका application जो है that is already visible in the recruitment ad and which is shared with the prospective job holder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because your job analysis, yes, job description you will be given a detailed job description when you join. But see, having said that, I would say job analysis, I mean, today you cannot define the jobs very much. Is it so? I can't
Yeah.
say this task is not there in my job description, JD. Yes, sir? Because
Yeah.
HRM is affected by its environment. Here, there are so much of changes and so much of competition that any and every aspect of a task which is considered important for the organization and which my boss or management feels I can do it comes under my job. I can't say that's not a part of my JD. You have not put it in my JD. Yes? Because jobs are boundaryless these days.
Yes.
You are all working, isn't it? You might be asked to do many tasks which probably essentially are not part of your JD.
True.
Kashmi, right? That's how it is. But still, this is the foundation, I would say. Even though jobs have become boundaryless, in spite of the fact you have this data of job analysis, which is used for training needs. How do you decide as to which are the essential needs or which are the essential skills that I should be having on my job? And then send me for training through the job analysis information. How do you decide as to on what basis do you conduct salary surveys? Job evaluation is a basic, format through which you decide as to what is the salary of a person. By the way, what is job evaluation? Job evaluation? Anybody? Anybody? Job evaluation? Evaluating the worth of a job. Evaluating the worth of a job. When you evaluate the worth of a job, then you decide as to what is the salary to be given. So when you evaluate the worth of a job, you need to know what is the skill, what is the qualification, what is the experience, what is the extra mental skills or any specific skill required for the job for which you need to compensate. Right? So again, job analysis finds its application in job evaluation, which decides as to what is the salary for a job. Okay? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you will find that job analysis has got applications in almost all functions of your human resource management. Now, having said that, so if your job analysis information is not sufficient, wouldn't it affect all other processes? If you don't collect all specific information that is related to the job and you submit as an HR specialist a JD and a job description and a job specification, which is not all inclusive, will it not affect other processes? Because a recruiter might, I mean, during recruitment, you might as well look at what has been mentioned in your job analysis, right? So, keeping that in mind, what do you think are the essential information that has to be collected during a job analysis? During a job analysis, what do you think, according to you, are the information that you need to look at? Anil, could you throw some light? Yashasvi? Yashasvi?
The skills required, the knowledge required, the experience required,
Yes, very well. So,
and the language, how
yes,
many languages one can speak,
okay, fine.
and the culture is required, the cultural background.
Culture background, as in culture background of what? But the job requires a culture background?
No, let's say if I want to employ an employee who has to work in Europe or in
Yeah,
Germany or in France, then
that is
obviously I would recruit someone from there itself or who knows the culture of French people.
very true, Ashwini. So, what is it? You look at duties and tasks, you look at tools and equipments, you look at relationships also. As to,
Yes,
I mean, how many people you need to interact with, what kind of people you need to interact with, whether it is customers, whether it is government officials, whether it is something, I mean, very technical. So, what could be the knowledge, skills, and aptitude required for to perform the job, right? Similarly, what is the work environment? What is the kind of work environment, and what are the special skills, like Ashwini said, if you need to have a knowledge about specific language, or maybe I'm into some research department and wherein I need to work on a microscope. So what is it, my eyesight, or maybe I'm into banking, so I what would be the special skill or requirement for the job? So accordingly, are you able to understand? So these are the things that you would actually look at when you are uh, looking at a job analysis, right? So for managing performance, for promotion, for increasing the salary, for deciding as to whether to restructure the job, appraising the performance, recruiting people, evaluating them, everything finds the application of job analysis. Now we looked into what are the essential things that we need to collect as far as job analysis is concerned. Now, how do we collect this information? How can we collect the information with regard to task or responsibility with whatever Ashwini just not spoke? Anybody else? Yes? Ashmi, would you like to say something? Ashmi, what I'm talking about, what are the techniques that could be used in order to collect the information, whatever we just mentioned now? Questionnaires, have you heard of questionnaires?
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Questionnaires and psychometric test is also there.
Yes. So what is it? Questionnaire is something. So questionnaire has to be valid and questionnaire has to be reliable. Questionnaire is nothing but, see, as you do your project also, you have an MS 100 also. You have an MS 100 also in your syllabus. I'm MS 100. I don't know whether it would be logged as MS 100, but I'm sure you might be supposed to take up a project as a part of your study. So, wherein you would be required to formulate a tool. Either it could be a checklist, either it could be a questionnaire or some interview questions wherein you are going to collect data with regard to the topic that you have chosen for your study. Right? So, here what we have decided the topic is job analysis. So, you are going to have questionnaire. So, what should the questionnaire consist of? Questionnaire should be reliable and valid. Valid, what does that mean? It is measuring what it is supposed to measure, and whatever it has measured is correct. So say for example, if you measure my IQ today, your questionnaire is valid when if you my leadership skills say me, or maybe my IQ today, and the same tool Sono uses after 10 days to measure my IQ. Today you measure my IQ as 40 upon 50. Okay? Are you there with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
You
Yes.
measure through this tool that you have devised, 40 upon 50, you rate me on a tool, that questionnaire that you have devised today. Sono administers the same tool after 10 days and I'm given 50 upon 50. So that means there is something wrong with the questionnaire. It has to be the same because my IQ would not change. Will it change within a week or 10 days?
It won't. It won't.
So you will have to be very careful when you formulate your questionnaire because it should be consisting of those kind of information which it is supposed to measure. So what and all is to be measured we already discussed. So your questionnaire should consist of the job title, right? What is going to be the title of the job holder's superior? How many people are going to report to the job holder? And whom is he supposed to report? A brief description of the overall role or purpose of the job. What are the main tasks or duties? The timings of the job, the special kind of environmental requirements for the job, right? All these comes and the frequency with which a certain task has to be performed. That again has to be a part of your questionnaire. Isn't it? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So now, questionnaire is one method. Have you heard of interviews?
Yes.
Right. So same questionnaire, you can ask somebody and you would answer on his behalf by asking. You can record the message and then you would record it in your answer book or questionnaire. That becomes an interview. So what is it? You can actually check. Now when you talk about job analysis, whom do you administer this questionnaire to? Whom can you administer the questionnaire to? Who are the sources of data? If
Public.
yeah.
Public.
Who? Sorry.
Basically, public. Questionnaires are given to the public or the person who have got that skill.
So if you want to measure the, if you want to, if you're making, if Ashwini, if I ask you to analyze the job of a teacher,
Okay.
who would you go and pose the questionnaire to?
Who are in education line.
Yes. So somebody in the industry, and if you're looking at a specific organization, right? So what you would do, you would look at, say, you can ask the job holder himself as to what he's doing. You can ask his superiors as to what is their perception. You can even interview other people also, whom which the customers or people whom I interact with. As per the student, what is the importance or what is the teacher supposed to do, right? Are you there with me? Yes.
Yes.
And right. So the second mode of collecting data is the interview. So interview would be, you can interview the job holder himself. You can interview the superior also as to what do you think is the job holder's role, right? Work out a logical sequence of questions which would help the interviewee to order his thoughts. Say, for example, if you're interviewing me, okay, what is your reporting time? How many classes do you take a day? What is the duration of your classes? How much time do you goes into the preparation of a class? Okay, what could be, what are the challenges in your job? Isn't this what you would be asking? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So that all the data that we have listed, we get from the job holder, right? So once you analyze, you collected all possible information with regard to the job, you tabulated the information. The outcome is going to be, what are the outcomes of the job analysis process? If you're able to mention, I think you are with me. Yes, what are the outcomes of a job analysis? Why did we do the job analysis? Because we were looking at two kind of data. What was it? Job
Description.
Yes, job. Very good. Job description and job specification. Right?
Specification.
Right. So, what are the outcomes of a job analysis? Ashwin, you're there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What is it? Job description and a job specification. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, what is it? So, job description and specification, you would make use of it in recruitment and selection. Train.
Basically, whenever we, put the questionnaire or do some analysis, we
Yes.
set priority matrix कि हम
Yes.
किस किस चीज को कितना वैल्यू देंगे,
Yes.
एंड उसका फिर हम एक स्कोर निकालते हैं. उस स्कोर के हिसाब से वी डू द एनालिसिस कि
Yes.
जिसका सबसे ज्यादा स्कोर आएगा एज पर प्रायोरिटी मैट्रिक्स, उसके हिसाब से स्कोरिंग होता है.
बिल्कुल स्कोरिंग होगा. तो आपके यहाँ पे प्रायोरिटी मैट्रिक्स क्या क्या होगा? ड्यूटीज एंड टास्क, वर्क एनवायरनमेंट, टूल्स एंड इक्विपमेंट, रिलेशनशिप्स, रिक्वायरमेंट एज पर एज नॉलेज, स्किल्स एंड
यस
एटीट्यूड.
यस यस, दीज आर ऑल द वेरिएबल्स जिसको हम टैबुलेट करके फिर इवैल्यूएट करेंगे.
बिल्कुल. और इसको जैसे ही आप एनालाइज करोगे तो आप इसको दो जगह कंपार्टमेंटलाइज करोगे.
यस
जहाँ पे पॉसिबल स्कोप, ड्यूटीज, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज आते हैं, पर्पस आते हैं, वो बन जाता है आपका जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन. और जो अदर पार्ट है जो टॉक्स अबाउट द स्किल एंड क्वालिफिकेशंस एंड नॉलेज रिक्वायर्ड और पर्सनल एट्रीब्यूट्स, दैट बिकम्स योर जॉब स्पेसिफिकेशन. Very right. Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
I hope all of us are clear about job description and specification. Now, how many of you have heard about the term job design? Job design. What is a job? Job rotation सुना है, job enlargement सुना है,
जॉब रोटेशन सुना है.
job rotation सुना है, great. Job enrichment सुना है?
नहीं.
नहीं. So job rotation is one of the techniques of job design. So अगर job design word को, I mean, if we break the word job design, what does it mean? Designing the job. That's it. Designing the job. So how do you design the job? What are the components that go to? How can you make a job, good design for a job? Making the job attractive. What makes like if I say a dish, what makes a dish attractive? The aroma,
The ingredients.
presentability,
The
the color, everything, right? Ingredients, everything. So what are the ingredients that go into a job? The task, the responsibility, the autonomy, all of it forms.
The remuneration.
Yes, that all forms a part of your job. That all are components of your job, ingredients of the job. But here, when Shrikant said salary definitely is an important aspect of a job, but job design is just a technique which doesn't look at the salary. We are using certain small techniques to make the job attractive. Is it possible to do that without a salary? Without an increase in the salary, can the job become a motivation for you?
Yes, yes, it does.
It can become motivation.
Yes, so that is the concept that job design focuses on. So when we talk about job enrichment, when we talk about job enlargement, when we talk about job
Ma'am,
rotation,
it can be done like this ki, let's say if I'm getting a job on a lesser salary, but if it is giving an offshore training to me,
yes,
so that is a kind of job enrichment, you can say, where I will have more scope of getting job or switching over job after that particular my first job.
we will stop. We'll take this one by one as Ashwini. You said training, right?
Yeah.
But if your current job only gives you to make use of those special skills that you have learned and learn on the job, this existing job itself is a motivation for you,
Yes.
right? If your autonomy increases, I don't have to ask my boss for every small decisions.
Yes.
My responsibility, number of people reporting to me has increased. I have
Yes.
become empowered. Doesn't
Yes.
it? So the concept of job design is focused on actually making your job a motivator for the job holder. And that's
Okay.
okay. So many times it could be asked whether job design or job enlargement is it just a fad. These techniques of job design, is it a fad? Because when my responsibility increases, when my task increases, when the autonomy increases, I am supposed to perform more. Yes or no?
Yes.
So when I'm performing more, naturally I would expect more salary also.
Yes.
But
course,
here, as HR specialist, we are just looking at job being a motivator without looking at the salary. But we all said yes, job itself can be a motivator, because if I'm getting opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, and opportunities to network. So if I'm performing a task wherein I get to meet the best of the, influential people, and that's making me learn and grow. So what is it? I'm getting empowered, isn't it? So that's
Yes.
motivation for me, right? So having said that, let's just discuss the techniques of job design. The first one is job rotation. So what does job rotation mean? Moving employees from one job to another without any fundamental change in the nature of my job. So generally, it is used as a part of probation, wherein I could be trained by different departments to get to know initial training as to how I would be, and finally being placed on my job. How many of you have gone through job rotation? Anybody?
Yes, yes, I did.
You did, right? So what was your learning, Shrikant, during job rotation?
No, it's like upskilling. I mean, it's cross skilling to know the other person's job. I mean, I'm at the procurement, then
Yes.
I've been moved into the finance, from finance to HR. It's
Yes.
like multi skills.
Okay. So what is it? Basically, the purpose of the organization was to give Srikant an exposure towards just different aspects, right? And finally, he would find, his placement back in his department only. But what happens when I get to know the connectivity, I get to know how things are working, basically adding more meaning to my job. So that doesn't mean you will put a mechanical engineer into some other branch, right? But similar jobs wherein I am able to perform. Is it clear?
Yes.
Ashmi, is it
Yeah,
clear?
100%.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Ashmi is here. Anil is here. None of them are responding. I would expect more participation in my class. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So are you able to understand? Are we on the same page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Fine. So next technique is job enlargement. So what would job enlargement mean? Enlarge. Let's, when you don't understand, I tell all my students only, not all the time it works, but just break the word. Now, even when you attend the answers in the question paper, you would remember this. Ma'am said just break the words. Rotation, not the, rotating the job holder between similar jobs. Job enlargement, enlarging the job scope. So what does enlarging the job scope would mean?
Giving more scope to the employee or
Yes.
more responsibility.
See, it could be not necessarily more responsibility, because responsibility would mean more number of people reporting. It could be doing similar more responsibility with regard to the current task only. Say, for example, if you have to enlarge my job as a teacher, I am an HR teacher, so you need to enlarge my job. What are you going to do? As an HR specialist, you are asked to enlarge my job. What could
So there are different functions which comes under HR.
okay?
Like training is there, recruitment is there, appraisal is there.
Yes.
So I can enlarge your job by put if you are working in recruitment, I can put you in establishment. I can add value in recruitment. I can add you in appraisal. So that is basically enlarging your job.
Okay. But does this, say for example, if appraisal has got a different software that is being used, will I fit into that?
Uh, there has to be an overlapping period between the previous employee and you.
It will be within the same organization, within the same section. Say I would give it the best. 8 seconds. Asim has raised his hand. Asim, you want to add something, or is it by mistake? Asim. Okay, I think I have lost Asim. Asim, you have raised. Okay, maybe nothing. All right. See, I'll give you the simplest example. Simplest would be, say I'm taking you increase. I'm a specialist in a field, and my basic duty is taking class, teaching students as a teacher. So you give me one or two, or maybe another section of the same class. Are you there with me? Are you?
Yes, yes, yes.
So you have horizontally expanded and increased the job scope, giving me a variety of tasks to the job holder. So adding more tasks to a single job. So what is it? That's what basically you have done. So like Shrikant said, you might put me to related tasks in the job. Are you there? But
Yes.
see, when you add responsibility, when you add a little more autonomy, When you add more opportunity for me to grow, like I said, performance appraisal is using a different set of software. So if I'm being trained and use asking being placed there, that becomes enrichment. Understood?
Okay.
So, what is the difference
Oh,
between an enlargement and enrichment? Enrichment would mean more responsibility, more opportunity to grow, and more opportunity to contribute my ideas. I would have more autonomy, maybe more number of people reporting to me, and it is basically increasing my accountability. That is what is enrichment. Enlargement would be adding 2 or 3 more tasks to my existing job. Are you able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So,
yes, ma'am.
what did you do in a job enrichment? You increase my responsibility by adding a variety of tasks. You gave me some kind of autonomy to decide as to what could be my standard of performance. You gave me certain kind of autonomy wherein I don't have to ask my boss for every small things. I mean, you have given me opportunity to innovate, learn, and grow in my job, and certain decision making, which probably are not very critical, and I can handle. Understood?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, what are the 3 techniques that we just now discussed?
Job rotation,
Yes,
job enrichment,
and job.
job enlargement.
Yes.
Enlarge.
So, you have job rotation, job enrichment, and job enlargement. Right? So, these are the basic techniques of job design. That as far as job design is concerned, right? So, we talked about job analysis, we talked about the techniques of job analysis, we talked about the uses of job analysis, we talked about how a job analysis has to be done, we discussed job design and different techniques of job design so far. Is it clear to all of us? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So with this background, let's get to what a brief idea of what recruitment is. What are the different processes and methods of recruitment as well? I'm sure all of us are familiar with the process of recruitment, right?
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
is a basic
Yes, ma'am.
difference. Yeah, but conceptually speaking, there is a basic difference between a recruitment and a selection. Have you seen? Okay, before I go to the theoretical aspects, have you seen any change in the trends of recruitment? The recruitment trends. Have you seen any change in the trends of recruitment as compared to 5 years down the line or even last year?
There is a change, ma'am.
Yes.
Now the job recruiter, like if we see the LinkedIn,
Yeah.
from LinkedIn we get a notification that this job is available there.
So you're
So I'm saying the recruitment agency is coming to the potential candidate. Earlier, 5 years back, the candidate has to look for the job.
okay. So great point, Ashwini. Anybody else who would like to add? Because see now the
Yes,
changes.
ma'am.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Arpit. Yes, Arpit. Please.
नाउ मैम, अब ये चेंज हो गया है कि पहले इंटरव्यू या फिर जो रिक्रूटमेंट होता था वो इंडस्ट्री में या जहाँ पे होता था वहीं पे जाके करना पड़ता था. आजकल ऑनलाइन होता है सब.
ऑनलाइन हो गया आपके घर बैठ के आपका इंटरव्यू होगा है ना यू आर एक्चुअली यू कैन गेट on phone interviews I mean on video calls you don't have to go to Bangalore or you don't have to go to I mean abroad to look for appear in an interview. It could be happening through video conferencing or a video call. That's how it goes. Similarly, like Ashwini said, you are using social media sites to professional. I mean, you are using Facebook, you would be using LinkedIn, you are using online recruitments processes to basically reach out to candidates. So now, I mean, the employer also wants good people, right? Similarly, the employer is also very particular about whom he is going to recruit, because if you have a wrong selection that is happening, what happens? What are the outcomes, or what are the repercussions of a wrong recruitment that has happened? What happens?
Basically, you will
It
not be
affects.
able to meet the organizational goals.
Okay, one thing, I'm not a performer. I would not be able to perform. What else?
Will not be able to meet the organizational goals by recruiting a wrong person who is not fitting in the job.
I'm not fitting into the job. That could be there. I mean, there could be other things also. You invested so much, and
Yeah.
maybe, but then Ashwini, you have a choice that fitting into a job wherein in some other vacancy or some other thing.
No, no. I was saying that organizational goals shall not be met if we recruit a wrong person.
If you recruit the wrong person, organization goals are not met. Definitely yes. What else?
I mean, even
The
that. Yeah, please, Ashwini. Yeah,
yeah,
please.
the it will also affect the culture of the organization if you recruit a wrong person.
Yes. And when you affect the culture of your organization, you're doing more harm than good to your organization.
Yes, yes.
So, like rightly, Shrikant, you have a point to make, after which I'll take up. Yes, Shrikant? Shrikant, you were
What
saying?
I was saying is because even the person himself will find himself in a very wrong footing. I
Yes.
mean,
He'll leave you.
yeah. So
He'll not stay with you and he will leave you. So, that is the reason why organizations these days look at, have you heard of, just now what Ashwini said was culture fit. What is a culture fit? You have
Uh,
person fit. Again, we'll break the words. Person fit, job fit, and a culture fit. These are the three aspects that, when it comes to recruitment, organizations are very careful these days, as compared to Pele, when you were in, you would just look as to whether the person has the knowledge, skills, and ability, and he would be fit into the organization. But now we know recruitment is a costly affair because, like Ashwini said, like Shrikant said, if you get a wrong person, it will do more harm than good because the cost that you invested, he will not stay with you, he will not perform in the job, he might affect the teamwork culture, which is going to be a wound for you which you have created for yourself. So, what
it
do you understand by a culture fit, organization fit, or a job fit? Because these are the three fits, and in fact, person fit that is coming now, individual person fit. Can you just make some, Anjali? Are you there with me? Can I have some passive students and my learners in my class speak up? I would love to hear your voice. Anybody? Anjali, Neha, Hirak, you were active in the last class. This class I have lost you, I guess. Hirak ji, are you there? Okay. I don't think. I think the after lunch classes seem to be a little. I have the students leaving my class because I think the teacher is the. उनको लग रहा है कि teacher नाम बुला रहा है सब किसी को बुला रहा है. Anyway, okay. So now tell me, what do you understand by culture fit? Ashwini, you were very close to the question. Answer to the question. Culture fit.
yeah, culture fit is basically like the employee of IBM will not fit into the Google because the
Yes.
culture of IBM is totally different from Google.
Very rightly said. If you have a culture that specifically is evolving around teamwork, and I'm a person who is just person oriented, individual oriented, I cannot be a team player. You recruit me looking that I'm really good, I might not be able to perform in your organization. So there is a lack of culture fit. What could be the lack of job fit? When my knowledge, skills, and abilities are mapped to what is the requirements on the job, that means there is a job fit. Right? What could be a person fit? Person fit. Have you heard of this? Person fit? My aspirations, my career goals. All of us aspire something,
Yes,
right? So my aspirations, my goals has to be met through this job because I am looking at this career because 2 years from working in this job, I'm looking for that kind of a job with some other organization. So what is the opportunity that I get to learn with you? How am I growing with you? This is something that would be my deciding factor as to person fit. Or maybe many times what happens, if I feel that I'm contributing more than what you're giving, there would be lack of a person fit.
yes,
Doesn't it happen? Doesn't it happen many a times with any employees? When I feel that I'm giving more than what I'm getting,
yeah,
right? So in that
yes,
case,
yes, it
I'm
does.
being dissatisfied, I'm disengaged, right? So when you recruit, you need to make the right choice because recruitment is a heavy investment. एंड यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग बिकॉज आप उन्हीं चीजों में इन्वेस्ट करते हो जिसमें आपको रिटर्न मिलेगा. Isn't it? You would not invest in a car, old car which is almost, I mean, you think you just cannot उसका पूरा you would not think of investing it because आपको पता है कि this would not go for long. Isn't it? It happens.
Yeah.
You would,
Yes, yes. वो हो सकता है.
right? So you would invest only in something that is going to give you return. And recruitment is such a process that companies like Google, Yahoo, Facebook, they invest heavily because they cannot afford to make a wrong choice. Because the investment is huge, right? They keep on updating themselves. Cisco, when I said Cisco goes to the passive candidates and lures them to apply for the job, so that is the kind of recruitment strategies that they use and invest in recruitment so that there is heavy return on investment. So when I say return on investment, let me give you an example. Again, say for example, I have got a vacancy of data analyst. Are you there with me, all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so if I've got I mean, HR is now answerable for this also. As if I've got a vacancy for data analyst and I exploit three sources of recruitment. One is advertisement in the newspaper, the other is campus recruitment, and the third is advertising in trade association journals. Are you there with me?
Yes.
So I used
Yes, ma'am.
these three sources of recruitment. One was a campus recruitment, other was advertisement recruitment newspaper, and the third was advertising in trade association journal.
Trade journal.
Yeah, trade journals, right? Say for example, you have got the management association, you have got you have got different association, chartered account, you have got association journals also. You know? So I had vacancy of 5, two of which I filled through trade association. Please be with me if so that you understand the concept. Two of them I recruit through trade association journal. Two I recruit through campus, and one I recruit through the recruitment ad. Right? I had 5 vacancies. I recruited 2 through the trade association journal, 2 through the campus recruitment, and 1 through the recruitment advertisement in the newspaper. Then again, after 3 months or 6 months, there is a vacancy again. Okay. Now,
Okay.
before I exploit 3 of these medium of recruitment, I will have to check out the performance of these 5 people whom I recruited. So what do? I
Yes.
look at the trade association journal people whom I recruited. They're still with me and they're doing well, and there is less of investment in their training. I look at the campus recruitment. 2 of them, I mean, one of them has already submitted his resignation, one of them has left. Campus recruitment. And the
Okay.
recruitment advertisement, there was huge investment on training, and I don't see that kind of a performance from him. So now when there is a vacancy, which mode do I exploit? Or which mode do I use?
Trade association journals.
Trade association, because the return on investment. So if I don't use a trade association and I blindly look at recruitment ad, which is a traditional source, I will be answerable to my management, because the reason being, this didn't work for us. For the data analyst vacancy, this actually didn't work for us. So it is better that I go for the trade association journal. So when we talk about recruitment today, why the companies have to look at what is the return on investment on each of the processes, because I'm answerable. Are you there with me? So
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
as a wise HR, what do? You will look at only those techniques which have given you returns and which is efficient and effective. What is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Efficiency is getting more with less. Effectiveness is performing what it was supposed to perform. My recruitment process would be effective if I have been able to take good employees. It is efficient if I have been able to get good employees with less cost. I didn't use all the 3 techniques. I just used trade association. I saved my cost. So it was efficient, yes or no?
Of course it was.
Right? You understood? Did you understand
Yes,
the
ma'am.
concept? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is a change in the recruitment. That's a trend that's coming up. Because HR is also now equally answerable to the management, and that's again because you are answerable whether the strategy has been met. Right? So if your recruitment process has to be both effective and efficient. Right? Your recruitment process has to be both effective and efficient. So now,
efficient.
right? Okay. Now, what is the difference between a recruitment and a selection?
Yes. The the selection, you'll select. Let's say you have one job that you have advertised
Okay.
by different three modes, and you got 10 people selected.
Okay. After the interview,
Then,
or
but you end up
yes,
then you end up recruiting only one. So all the selection would not be your recruitments.
all your selections would not be your yes, all the selection, because
Not
yes, and this what
not
Shrikant you have referred to is known as yield ratio in recruitment. YELD.
okay.
Because the number of people, because now if I have to contact, if I have to take two people of data analyst, I need to at least connect to 25 prospective
Yes.
candidates, because I would be probably calling you for interview. I mean, out of 25, not all 25 would be turning up for the interview. Out of the who turned up for the interview, not necessarily everybody would be selected. Of the all
Yes.
selected, and I offer you an offer letter, not all of you would take an offer letter. So, I have to predict as to, if I have to recruit 5 people, what is the ratio? Probably 5:3. So 5, I have to contact at least 15 or 20, how many, right? So, but
Yeah.
having said that, again, recruitment is defined as just identifying your prospective employees and encouraging them to apply to jobs in your organization. Have you seen a change in the recruitment ads? I mean, they try to create it, they're trying to they're going for employer branding. Have you heard of the term employer branding?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
branding your organization. You want, Arpit, are you there with me?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yes. So what is it? You can use your recruitment ad as, I mean, for employer branding your organization as well. Can't you? Can't you? If you look at many, if you look at, I mean, what you can do today is, I mean, just randomly look at a few ads. You would see how it is just not looking at it is probably playing smart, I would say, as in you are actually looking at luring the person, at catching his attention. I mean, luring him to read through, applying to your organization, creating an image. That's what your aim is. So, recruitment is the process of identifying and stimulating people to apply for jobs in your organization. Right? Now, selection is wherein from the applied people, you actually weed out those who are not job fit, organization fit, culture fit, or person fit to your organization through various techniques. That becomes a part of your selection. Are you there?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So, how many of you are working? Shrikant, you're working, you said. So, what was the selection process that you faced?
Look, when I applied, I mean, I was working, but now I got. I mean, we got our own small software development company where
Okay, so
I am the head of the operations now.
even better, even better. So, what are the selection techniques that you use?
Look, when we need, let's say we need a PHP developer,
Okay.
then we kind of the job analysis and the job description, we kind of design and job design. So we do it. We kind of go through the modes of advertising.
All
Then
right.
we select the perspective the candidates.
Okay. So, here I
Then
would
we
just
interview them. So,
yes. So what do? You do a preliminary interview, maybe on a phone call, or maybe just through the. I mean, you
yes,
look at the application form, and then you look at the application form. Uh, I mean, a preliminary interview wherein you probably a telephonic conversation or whatever. Then you look at the application form. Then maybe you, if the application form looks suitable to you, you call him for a second interview, right? And maybe
yes,
you could
yes,
have some testing methods. Testing methods, say for example, what are the different test methods? See, you want, see, companies like TCS or Google, they have their aptitude test, right? What do? They
yes,
have this aptitude test, that they mental ability test, mechanical aptitude test, psychomotor test. That would be for those who are semi-skilled. So you have got different tests for different set of jobs, right?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Based on what? Based on the requirements for the job. So if the job demands high memory, interaction, reasoning, good perception, or maybe something like a spatial visualization, I would be going in for high level of IQ test, right? If that is a demand for my job,
Right.
right? If it is
Right.
something like, if I'm looking at, I'm a machinist or a mechanics, I'm a maintenance worker, so I might go in for a mechanical aptitude test, right? A job which is requiring looking at my psychomotor skills, maybe semi-skilled, repetitive jobs, or maybe packing, testing, inspection, assembly work. It would be looking at my psychomotor skills, right? Similarly, jobs
Yes.
with maybe a salesman or a banker, you might look at personality test, situation test, wherein you want to assess as to what how reliable this person is, what is the ability of this person to go through if a job is highly stressful, you might go in for a situation test, because you would ask the person, give him a peculiar situation where it is highly stressful, and then try to know his reactions to the situation. So how does he react? So when he reacts very, I mean, haphazard, that means he would not be fit in this job. Are you there with me? So you have
Yes.
got,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Understood.
So what is
Ye-
it? You
Yeah,
have,
ma'am. The example we can give for the highly stressful job is like NSG and SPG.
yes, true. Yes, true. You are working somewhere there close by. You are able to empathize. What are you doing, Ashwin? You're working as well?
No, I'm working, but I know that these jobs are stressful because someone is working there.
Okay. So I mean, would you like to share something? Some example? Share
Uh,
something with us? Yeah.
yeah, because they have to, during training period only, they have to be awake for 7 days, day and night.
I mean,
So
it's a kind of,
in
yeah,
in
physical.
in SPG,
Yeah. So
Special
that
Protection Group,
Recently, the Punjab incident, 27th of the
yeah,
and
yeah, two
and
seconds. Yes, yes, you're right. Please.
and NSG is which जो ताज अटैक हुआ था उसमें NSG को एम्प्लॉय किया था
Ji.
to drop down from because Israel is supposed to be the best in this rescue operations.
Mhm.
So we get trained from Israel and from other countries which are good at it.
So he has, I mean, Ashwini has just now said how, I mean, the job demands, I mean, so that is the level of testing that would be taken before they're taken to the job, right?
Yes,
I think, have I
Yes,
lost
ma'am.
all of
and
you?
and psychometry test is very crucial in stressful jobs.
Yes. So I mean, if you want, if there is a job which is looking at keeping high secrets, something which is very very crucial. So you might also look at tests which lie detector test, but that's not very randomly used. But at the same time, that's the kind of test which probably says whether to what extent I'm trustworthy or I can keep secrets. Which
Raw is the department
Yes,
for that.
right, right. So, but only government, you need to have permissions before using those kind of high level tests. But again, those are certain tests which actually tell you as to whether you are right for the job or not. So,
Yeah.
right. So, what I would say is, we just discussed the basic aspects and some trends in the subject. The module in itself is so rich that you go through, you have examples also written in it, you go through it, you would be you would understand it yourself. I don't know why we haven't put in efforts as to go through the modules. None of us have gone through the modules, I believe. Priyanka, have you? Girls are supposed to be more sincere. That's why I asked. Priyanka,
No, no.
but
I'm also. We also sincere, ma'am. I didn't go through.
I have all the boys participating in this class. Ashmi is quite, and I think there are two things that we can actually form an image on. Post lunch classes, we have got lesser participation as compared to the morning sessions, and we have more active participation in the morning session.